Hey, we're on. All right, welcome to everyone. This is a Google Hangout. It's part of a joint project between America's Voice and United We Dream. We call it ourhome.us. If you'd like to tell your story about how President Obama's executive action has impacted you, you can do so by visiting ourhome.us. It's where you can see videos and read stories of community members that have been impacted by the president's action. We'll also, during this half-hour hangout, we're going to be taking questions. You could submit questions through the web form on the America's Voice website, americasvoice.org, or by using hashtag #OurHome on Twitter. We'd like to make sure that we hear from the folks who are directly affected by the president's executive action today. But first and foremost, I want to talk to one of the great leaders in the immigrants' rights movement. Her name is Cristina Jimenez. She's the director of United We Dream, and we're working together on this project. And Cristina, I'd like you to say a few words about, where we are in this debate and why we're focusing on folks who are directly affected.
Thanks, Frank, and thanks for having me, and thanks for having United We Dream participating in this conversation. Certainly, this is a very historical moment for the immigrant community and for our movement, and for United We Dream, which is the largest immigrant youth leveler in the country. It's a very critical moment for us. We are a network that is led by undocumented young people, many who fall for the Deferred Action for Travel Arrivals program. We have 55 affiliates in 26 states, and actually online we have a community of over 100,000 people that engage with us. And this victory was thanks to you. Thanks to all of the work that we have done together as a community by courageously sharing our stories, leading actions, and pressuring the president to get here. And we know that we have to defend this victory, and we're ready to do so. For me in particular, Frank, being someone that grew up here, undocumented, my brother has DACA, and thanks to the fact that my green card got approved early this year, my parents were able to benefit from the program that the president announced. Both of my parents, Ligia and Fausto, will finally leave without fear of deportation after 17 years of being in the country. And unfortunately, that also leaves many members from our community, including many that are part of United We Dream, and our families and our loved ones who did not qualify for the program and were left out. So as much as we really own this victory and celebrate it, we also know that this is very incomplete, and we are committed to continue fighting for our community. What we have seen immediately right after the announcement of the president, it's what we were expecting. The Republicans have gone all whole on attacking this victory by filing lawsuits. We have seen more than 20 states that have done that already, and also by taking votes in Congress to try to get rid of this program and attacking it. And what we are saying to Republicans is, bring it on. We're ready to protect this victory that we won, that it was won by the undocumented community and by our courage. And we will not stop until this victory is a success and it becomes real in the lives of our community, until our community is able to file that form and to be able to get their protection from deportation and are able to get their work permit. And what we know for sure is this, that for us, it's not about politics. This is about our families, and that's why we're going to continue fighting and making a priority that this program is implemented effectively. And that for Republicans, the more votes that they continue to take on Congress to get rid of or attack these programs, like they did also with DACA, it means that they're just voting against our communities, against our parents, against immigrant youth, and our communities across the country. And we will not forget that. So we're ready to defend this victory. We're ready to implement it. United We Dream is leading educational efforts and forums all across the country. We did this with the Deferred Action for Travel Arrivals program. We have helped more than 50,000 young people with DACA, and we're ready to do the same now. So we're ready to defend it, we're ready to implement it, and we're also not taking anything for granted. So we're going to be very vigilant in ensuring that our advocacy continues with the White House, and the administration to ensure that this program is implemented effectively with the best interests of our communities in mind. So with that said, I want to pass it on now to Graysa Martinez, who's an organizer with United We Dream. Graysa?
Thank you, Christina. Hi, folks. I'm so glad to be here with all of you. My name is Graysa Martinez. I'm a field organizer with United We Dream. And I think what draws me to this work is afraid immigrant youth, and to it, my mom is able to qualify for deferred action for parents. And I can't even say how beautiful that moment was to be able to call her in November 20th and be able to tell her, Mom, like, the work that you did in coming out to the rallies, the work that like millions of people have been able to do, the prayers of millions of people have been answered, and you know, you will be able to stay with me and my sisters and I for a little bit longer. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to share this news face to face with my dad. He was deported about 6 years ago, and you know, my family story is not different from the 2 million people that have been deported under President Obama. But I think that what brings light to the work is the fact that, you know, my family was able to be part of the push for this victory, and were not able to celebrate it with us, and also the people that were not able to be covered by deferred action for parents. You know, just like I had a conversation with my mom that was really happy, and now she's talking about how she's going to go back to school and get her GRE and what kind of work she's going to do to be a substitute teacher. There was a conversation going on at the same time where people were feeling really tired and hopeless because they themselves or their parents were not covered. And I know that United We Dream and our members across the country are committed to the long-term fight to make sure that every person in our community is covered. We know that this victory is incomplete, but we're also very proud of it because for the second time, not only immigrant youth, but people across the country have been able to push the leader of the free world to do something that he didn't want to do. And like Christina mentioned, you know, we were able to throw down with United We Dream and allies like America's Voice. I still remember BW Congress rally outside of Dan Brewer's like detention center, and we were able to declare that, you know, we wanted to move forward and relief, and it wasn't like the pop. And I think a lot of you know, reflecting and making sure that we're moving forward. You know, immigrant youth were able to engage in civil disobedience. We confronted the president face to face in every speech that he gave, and we're able to move forward. So I'm glad to be sharing this space with you all. I'm glad to be able to celebrate, but I'm also committed to the long-term fight that will protect all of our community. I'll pass it off to Frank.
Yeah, thank you, Grace. So, yeah, I mean, look, I mean, I love the way you put it. You guys put it. We got to own the victory. This is an enormous victory that's going to free millions of people so they can work legally and travel freely and drive legally and live with dignity in America. And millions of people are left out. And we're going to keep fighting until every single one of the undocumented immigrants who are working and living in America are treated with justice. So it's a big victory, and it's incomplete. Both are true, and we're going to make sure we defend and implement the victory, and we're going to make sure we expand the victory to make sure it includes people who are left out. So, but yeah, and if he shows up, Ramon's going to be telling a story about someone who doesn't qualify. But first, we're going to go to Monica Reyes from Iowa. She's a dreamer in Iowa. Monica, tell us your story.
Hi.
There you go.
Well, said, my name is Monica Reyes. I am a dreamer from Iowa, and I co-founded Dream Iowa, which is a network of dreamers and allies that promote immigration reform, advocate for it, and find different ways to help out the national movement. I mean, in Iowa, there's probably 17,000 people that will be helped with the extension of DACA. But either way, there's still a lot that are left out. And something that Dream Iowa is doing, they're doing a Dream Iowa documentary that focuses on dreamers here in Iowa, leaders that are just like everyone else, normal Iowans, and we hope that with this video we're able to promote immigration reform and help teach people a little bit about immigration, put a face on immigration, and then also we're working on some clinics or informational meetings for communities. And the first one is starting out in Denison, Iowa, which I don't know if you guys know much about Steve King. A lot of Latinos know him, at least his name.
We sure do.
That's his hometown, and that's our first informational meeting. Will be in his hometown to send him a clear message that he does not oppress the undocumented community, and that we will not let him win this fight. We will keep fighting for the rest of the Latinos or the undocumented population that was left out, and we're going to defend what we already won. And that's another one, and then we're doing a lot of other things, but those are the two big projects that we're working on. And honestly here, for me personally, it really, I mean, with DACA, I was able to get a lot, I was able to accomplish a lot, get a really good job, and then also I became a first-time homeowner, which is a big thing for me and my family. And I mean, you even hear about citizens not being able to accomplish this much before they're 24, so I thought it was pretty big. And now with the extension of it, my mom qualifies for it, and it's really, really big. Like, to think of the opportunities that are going to be open for us, all the doors that are going to be opening, it's really, it's a relief, and it's exciting to know that we're able to now have upward mobility, and we're not going to have all the legal restrictions we once had. I know it's not perfect, but it is definitely a step forward.
Terrific. Thank you very much. That was Monica Reyes from Iowa. We're now going to hear from Ramon Jose, who is from Maryland. Ramon, can you...
Hi.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, and I'm very sorry for being late. You know how it is in DC.
Just in time, brother, just in time.
I'd like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my story. Actually, I was here last November 20 in my son's office, who works for United We Dream, when the president announced his immigration reform law. But I'm very happy for the people who are going to be able to qualify. I've been here for 14 years, and all I wanted was for my children to have the right to work and get what is rightfully theirs when they work for somebody. Like I said, we've been here for 14 years. I did all sorts of jobs, odd jobs from landscaping, from delivery to grocery bagging, and I don't want my children to go through the same thing that I went through. And I always tell my children, when your time comes, do something that you would love to do, and you don't have to drag your feet to work every day. I'm very happy. I'm very proud of my son Reyes, who's been working with United We Dream, who's been active. Let me share you that story. The morning we were driving to work, both of us was he wanted the right to go to work at that day in November 20. So we had a good hour talk, and I told him, no matter what happens, no matter how this announcement goes, I just want to tell you something. I'm very proud of what you've been doing, and I'm very happy that you're loving what you're doing on a daily basis. And no matter what, you were able to help millions. And that's the only thing that's important. Whether myself and your mom doesn't get included, we're still proud of you. We've been always proud of our children, and I think we raised them the right way.
Wow, it's very moving. Thank you so much, Ramon. And as we've been saying on this Google Hangout, and all of us in our celebrations of the people that do qualify, that we're not going to leave anybody behind. We're going to keep fighting until you and your wife are included and could live with the dignity that others are going to enjoy as a result of this announcement. So thank you for giving us your son to the movement and for continuing the fight yourself. We've got some questions that people have been sending in. I'd like to kind of shoot them at you guys. I mean, maybe Christina, you can take the first one, which is basic question from Deborah from Virginia. When can I start applying? What do I need to do to get ready?
Yes,
Go.
so application, there's no application right now. So what it's really important to know is that even though the president has announced this program, there is no way to apply for the program right now. But what you can do and what the community could do right now and should do, we're encouraging everyone to start getting ready for it. We know that the application is going to come at some point next year, in early in the year, whether it's February for some parts of the program, and or May for the DAPA part of the program. But until we get there, what will be really important in United We Dream, we have been promoting 5 key things that you could do. One is saving money for the application, right? Like the DACA application, the fee is going to be about $465, although that's not confirmed, but we know that it's going to be, there's going to be a fee associated with the application. So save money so that you're able to apply. Start gathering evidence of the years that you have been in the country, working, your pay stubs from either work or being able to get bills that you have for your cell phone, for electricity, for rent. Many people in our community pay taxes, so that's also another piece of evidence. So start collecting all of that evidence that will be able to show the time that you have been living in the country. The third thing is to be able to start looking at information in United We Dream's website so that you can understand the program and figure out if you will be able to qualify. You can go to unitedwedream.org, and we're going to have there a lot of information that will help you to understand whether you are eligible or members of your family and your neighborhood or your friends are eligible. The last thing is, do not believe anyone that is telling you that there is an actual program that you can apply for. So we know that there could be people out there that maybe want to take advantage of the community right now. So don't apply, but start getting ready and check out unitedwedream.org to figure out how you can also go to our educational workshops that we're running all across the country that we're going to be doing online, and also we will be providing resources so that you can find other organizations that are providing services at the local level.
Terrific. Gray, maybe you could take this next question. Kim in Ohio wants to know, will immigrants who qualify for President Obama's program be allowed to go home to their native country to visit family, and if so, how soon?
Yeah, that's one of the exciting parts about this new relief is that it does come with the opportunity to be able to travel. I don't have the specific requirements in front of me, but I do know that it's going to be an application process. Currently, as DACA works with advanced parole, is you have to be able to meet a certain requirement and be able to turn in an application to be able to meet your family once again. And so it sounds like from what we know of this new deferred action is that it will allow you to submit an application, your application for relief, and that would allow you to travel to a country to maybe reunite with your family, or be able to do something else similar, go to school, maybe we have a job opportunity.
Yeah, so there's still details, Kim, in Ohio that have to be worked out, but it's called advanced parole. This is permission to travel abroad, and it looks like as part of this series of changes in immigration policy that they're going to try to have a uniform policy that will make it easier for people to visit their home country. That's certainly what we're going to keep pushing for. There's another question from Kim. Anybody can answer this. Do you need an attorney in order to apply for expanded DACA or DAPA to apply for relief?
Well, this is Christina. You know, we always also had the same question when the Deferred Action for Travel Arrivals program happened in 2012 when we won the program. And what we realized very quickly is that sometimes the work of our organizations and many organizations across the country is not enough to cover the need in the community. So what we decided to do and what we continue to do is that we do massive events where people can get a lot of the information up front, but we have partnered with legal service providers so that there is always a lawyer that is able to review an application before it's sent out to the Department of Homeland Security, USCIS. So you don't necessarily have to have an attorney one-on-one through the entire process. What we have done within the DACA program is that we make sure that we have people that are well trained to provide information so that you understand the program, so that you put together your evidence, but we always make sure that there is a lawyer that reviews your application before it goes out. Obviously, we also know that there is going to be a lot of organizations and community leaders and members that are going to be organizing at the local level by partnering with pro bono lawyers or low bono lawyers to do this work. So there's a lot of people that we're talking about, and what we're trying to do is to serve as many people as possible. And so there is this combination of being able to provide information that could be led by people that are trained by groups like United We Dream, but also getting the lawyers to review the application at the end of the process. That streamlines the process and allows us to serve a lot more people.
Got it. We've got a number of questions about driver's licenses. One from G. Meyer from Georgia. I live in a state, Georgia, that is anti-immigrant. When this goes into effect and my spouse is approved, will the state be required to issue him a driver's license if he qualifies?
So this is Grace. I know that what we saw with deferred action for childhood arrivals is that the states do have some jurisdiction on whether or not they allow you to participate in driver's licenses, and Governor Jan Brewer still has not allowed Dreamers that qualify for DACA to be able to do those driver's licenses. But the good thing is that Arizona and the Arizona Dream Coalition has been part of United We Dream has been able to push forward and are still sort of in litigation. So the answer in terms of Georgia is that we don't know, but we do know that how the specific governors are going to react to it. It is in their own jurisdiction whether or not they issue driver's licenses, but there is good work on the ground going on to make sure that we protect the right and folks get those driver's licenses.
Yeah, so there may be a fight in some states like Arizona for DACA, maybe Georgia, where the state legislature is being pretty negative. But look, I mean, as the people in Arizona have proved, if you keep fighting, you can win. Right. There's a number of questions. Maybe Ramon, you can help us with this one. What should we do about the folks who are left out, who don't qualify under this existing program? What hope is there for people in that situation?
I think that the hope it's really that there's an entire movement that is committed to continue fighting for everyone. You know, one thing that this entire campaign working and pushing the president to win this relief for our communities taught me is that we engage so many new people in fighting for our community that it really created the awareness and the consciousness that we can work together, we can take action together, and we can pressure politicians for our rights, and we're gonna win. And that has created a lot of empowerment in our communities. I know for people like my dad who believed that the president did not care about his life, or people like us because we were undocumented, by seeing him and seeing a lot of dreamers and immigrant youth and the community fighting and winning, he now believes that we have power. And that has been a huge transformation that our community has gone through. So the hope is in our community. The hope is not in President Obama. The hope is not on Congress, certainly, especially after we see everything that the Republicans are doing against our community. But the hope is in us, and us committed to organizing our communities to continue to fight and to continue to advocate and pressure whoever we need to pressure, Republicans or Democrats, the president or Congress, to win protection for everyone in our communities. So that's the hope, that we're not going to let anyone behind, and just like we did not stop with DACA, Immigrant Youth and United We Dream, and I know the entire movement is committed to continue fighting.
Ramon, what's your view on, are you hopeful that in the long term we will be able to protect all 11 million, including people like you and your wife?
Well, I'm very hopeful. I've seen this. I've seen Ray and the United We Dream. They fought for us. They fought for themselves. It's a legacy already. DACA is a very good example, and I don't think now is the time to lose hope. I've been here for 14 years. I've seen what they were able to do, and I don't think it's going to take that long for us to be included.
I agree with you. I agree. This has been a big breakthrough. I think it changes the debate forever, and I think the power of our movement is closer to victory than people realize.
And the only thing I can say for those like me right now, hang in there. We've been here that long. It's not going to take that long for us to get included.
And we got your back, brother. We got your back.
Thank you. And for all your hard work, United We Dream and the other organizations out there, I thank you.
Hey, Monica, I was wondering, question I get a lot, and I'm wondering how you answer it is, hey, this thing is only for 3 years. What's going to happen, you know, what's going to happen if, like, you know, Obama's no longer president, there's a new president, isn't there a chance that somehow this could be taken away? And if people are signed up, you've given your information, does that subject you to more danger or risk? How do you respond to that question?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of us are all aware of that risk that we're taking. I mean, they take everything but a blood sample, basically, when they take your biometrics. So, you know, they can find you, but at the same time, it is something that for these 3 years, we really need to take advantage of. And honestly, here in Iowa, I know that we take a key role in presidential elections, and it's something that our network here in Iowa, we are going to make sure that every politician that comes here is going to be asked these tough questions. They will have to make their stance clear on immigration. And we will basically, you know, if someone is definitely opposed to immigration reform, we will not support it. And we will make it known to the national level, not just the Iowa state level. So that's something that we plan to do for the next 3 years, along with take advantage of everything that we can. I mean, within 1 year of me having DACA, I was able to buy a house. You know, there's a lot of opportunities that people are able to get, and also maybe with better jobs, different things. The undocumented populations might have different channels to go through. It might be able to afford lawyers to go through, seek different channels that they might not have had before. So that's something I always tell people, just because it is a temporary thing, take advantage of it and do as much as you can while you have it, and find your backup plan, whatever it might be.
Yeah, and I just want to add something. I've been working on immigration policy for 30 years, before some of you guys were born. But here's the thing, is that I can't remember one situation where a group of people was given a permiso, a work permit, and then it was taken away. Because it's just politically, it's really hard to do. And that's even more true for our movement, given that this was a victory that wasn't a gift, it was taken by this movement, and we're going to keep fighting. And so just from my experience on policy and my view of the political moment, the chances that the next president, no matter what party, of taking it away from people, I think are very small. And I think it's really important that people come forward, because I think the more people that do come forward, the better off we are. In fact, if I have any fear, it's for the people who are eligible and don't come forward. I think it's really incumbent on everyone who qualifies to get in the program, not only for yourselves but for your families and your community and for the people that are left out. I think it's going to be something where we can create this huge momentum where it won't only be impossible to take away, but it'll become inevitable that it's expanded to include 11 million people, not just 5 million people. Listen, we're coming to the end of the time we said we'd be here. I know there's a few more questions. I want to make sure that certainly, Christina, you have a chance for a last word here. If anybody else wants to say something, just signal me. But if not, I'm going to go to Christina Jimenez of United We Dream to close it out.
Thank you, Frank. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We are ready to implement this victory. We own it, and we're ready to defend it. So check out our website, unitedwedream.org, for more information. We are ready to walk with the community through this entire process to ensure that you're able to hold your work permit very soon. And we're also not going to leave anyone behind, and we are committed to, the same way that we got here, continue organizing and fighting for everyone until everyone can leave without the fear of deportation and that we're treated equally and with dignity here.
That was Christina Jimenez. She's with United We Dream. Next to her is Reyes Martinez, who's a field organizer with United We Dream. Then Ramon Jose, who is the father of a great organizer and someone himself who is fighting for his family. And then Monica Reyes, who's a co-founder and director of Dream Iowa. My name's Frank Sherry with America's Voice, and you can count on us to keep fighting until we get this done for every single immigrant in America. Thanks, everybody, for joining us, and we're signing off.